In a previous video, I have taught you about Dewey as educator and discussed about some of his books. Okay, now I'm going to teach you about Dewey's general philosophy. Okay, first is his thesis. What is his thesis? He said that philosophy ought to make no attempt to save the face of the traditional wisdom but ought to base its work entirely on experimental scientific facts. So he was not that type of person who believes on the traditional wisdoms stored by previous generation. He was a scientific kind of person, and he was a supporter of experimenting scientific facts and get the truth and base knowledge on that truth, that scientific truth. Okay, Dewey as a instrumentalist and experimentalist. To Dewey, ideas are tools and instruments. Philosophy at a higher plane is an instrument which defines the problems facing humanity, suggests solution of those problems, and finally helps us to evaluating the outcome of those practices. He is also an experimentalist. According to him, every idea should be tested by experiment before it is finally accepted. Okay, Dewey was an instrumentalist. He said that philosophy is an instrument to identify the problems of humanity and suggest solutions to humanity to solve their problems. Okay, and he was also a experimentalist because he said that nothing should be accepted without experimenting. Okay, after experimenting a thing, and if it satisfies your needs, then you can finally accept that. Nothing can be accepted without experimenting. It was his slogan. See, utilitarian view. As a pragmatist, Dewey believed that educational experiences should be measured by degree and extent to which they function in meeting the actual needs of the individual and the society. So, Dewey was a utilitarian. Okay, as a pragmatist, he believed that education should be helping the humanity to solve the actual problems and to fulfill the needs of the individual and the society. So that is a proper what you call utilitarian view. Utilitarian view means which is useful to mankind and the society. D is science and scientific method. According to significant features of his philosophy is science and scientific method. They govern human affairs of a kind. Knowledge and thinking is the process of experimentation. It is the education of and for experience. On the basis of this, he developed experimental method of teaching. So he was a supporter of science and scientific method because for experimenting something you need science and scientific methods to get a conclusion or to get the solution. Organic relationship between individual and society. So his aim was to arrange a suitable relationship between individual and society. Okay, faith in democracy and democratic ideas. Dewey experienced that the barrier of caste, color, religion, language have divided humanity. These barriers therefore must be broken to establish harmony between individuals and groups. It is education that can break such barriers. Okay, so he was a great supporter of democracy and democratic ideals because he knew that only democracy can uh, change these situations. And for democracy, you need education to to break this barriers of caste, color, religion, language, and other etc etc. Okay. Now, Dewey's educational philosophy. Education is necessary for life. Is necessity for life. Education, according to Dewey, is a necessity of life or a social necessity. All education proceeds by participation of the individual in the on the consciousness of the race. With such a philosophical background, Dewey defines education in these words. Education is the development of all those capacities in the individual which will enable him to control his environment and fulfill his possibilities. According to Dewey, education is the most essential necessity of life. Without education, there is no difference between other creatures and human. Education makes human beings. Without education, humans are not beings, only creatures. Okay.